come to order. And we want to thank Ms. Haskins for filling in tonight for Ms. Gore. We certainly appreciate her taking the time to do that for us. And Ms. Haskins, will you call the roll?
Present.
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 Okay, let's stand, and Mr. Lamar, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Mayo, I'm going to turn the meeting over to you.
Yeah, I told Ms. Williams I was going to hijack her meeting for a few minutes, and when it got to the presentations part, you've got probably the principals have outshined what central office did for you, but when you got here, there was a bag for you from central office just as a very small token of appreciation for all that you do as a board member in recognition of Tennessee School Board Member Week, a month. We're celebrating it tonight, but it's actually for the whole month. And we just want to give you a small token of appreciation, hopefully something you can relax with. When you open it, you'll see, hopefully it's something that you'll find relaxing. We all need that in our lives these days. We also are featuring each of you this week on Facebook. I know we started with Mr. Benjamin yesterday. Ms. Conley was today. And so we're making you Facebook famous this week. So hopefully you'll get a lot of love shown to you through those Facebook posts. But anyway, I personally just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate you. Working with each of you is a pleasure. And all that you do to support our schools and our employees and of course our students. I couldn't ask for a better situation, and I know that's not the case across the state. When you go to meetings, I've shared that with you before, you hear some really bad, sad stories of how school boards and superintendents and district office administration work together, and it's not always a good thing, but I don't ever have anything to share about that other than our situation is great and we have a great working relationship, and I just appreciate the way you support me and allow me to do my job and ask me questions and get clarification on things, but at the end of the day you let me do my job, and I appreciate that. At this time, Mr. Duncan, on behalf of the principals and the schools, was appointed to be the spokesperson tonight for the school's presentation. Mr. Duncan.
Absolutely. I do get the distinct pleasure of being voted in the aisle instead of off of it. But I do want to say, in all seriousness, I do want to say thank you for all that you do for not only our schools, but our teachers, our custodials, all of our staffs. Appreciate you much more than they tell you, much more than you know, because we know when it gets down to it, you all have got our backs for each of the schools, and as well as the superintendent. I know working together on a staff like this takes a lot of time away from your families, but it means a lot to those, 4,000 students? That number's close, I think. Total higher, a little bit higher. 4,800 for all the students in our schools and the staffs who work each and every day behind the lines. I do want to say, as a small token of our appreciation, you do have kind of a swag bag up there to show a little bit of our appreciation. It's not near enough, we know that, but you've got some apparel from each of the schools that hopefully you can wear once it gets a little bit warmer. I don't know if there's any long sleeve in there or not. We've also added an extra special gift. If you find it down in there, we've got note cards in there of every parent who has talked to each of the principals in the last 3 weeks and told them they're going to call board members. We put their phone numbers in there for you. So I do want to let you know that. I had one today, matter of fact. That I'm going to the board. I said I got all 5 of them tonight on the board. I'll let you know right where they are, and you can follow me over there. So we got a meeting you can come to if you want to. In light of that, it's a little bit funny to say that, but a lot of times when we go through those type of situations, we know you have our backs. We know the superintendent has our backs if we provide them enough defense. But what we do on a daily basis is very much appreciated by you. So thank you very much for what you do, not only for our schools and staffs, but the town too, because I know you have to put up with a lot of requests. And Mr. Board Member, can you change this policy for my kid and things like that? So I know you have to listen to that as well. But thank you for all you do, all of it.
So at this time, I've been appointed a photographer for tonight, Mr. Rosebound. So we're gonna ask our four principals, if you all would go up behind, Mr. Lamar, Ms. Williams, Ms. Conley, and stand behind them, and if the others can kind of come
Take
over
your
here for a
bags
photo.
down.
Yes,
Y'all
ma'am.
would.
Take your bag down. The blue.
Yeah, maybe come here, right, under the
Where's-
Arlington Community Schools.
Are we
Can we
standing?
sit down? Cause I didn't dress for this occasion.
We'll do whatever you want us to do.
Here, let's sit down, okay?
Sit.
I was gonna say, if I'm standing, I'm gonna have to be sitting.
Are we centered,
Like we're sitting.
or do I need to go closer this way?
The hardest decision we make all night.
Bags down.
Yeah, in the back. One, two, three. And 1, 2, 3. You get one more. 1, 2, 3. All right, got it.
All right.
Excellent.
You just noticed all photographers, it's just camera.
Thank y'all so much.
We also,
Thank you.
we also want you to know that something I failed to mention is we, as principals of each school, we also donated $100 to each of our names to St. Jude.
Thank you.
As another token of our appreciation.
You know, it's really strange when people who work the hardest thank the people who don't work as hard as they do. And let me just tell you, we really appreciate y'all. I mean, you are absolutely amazing. So, including our superintendent and all of you, you're just amazing people, and we appreciate you very much. All right, looks like we do not have any citizens' comments.
Do we have any citizens? Despite the invitation, right?
Yeah, they didn't take you up on that, Mr. Duncan. Is there a motion to approve the January 25th, 2022 agenda?
So moved.
It's been moved by Mr. Benjamin, seconded by Ms. Conley, to approve the January 25th, 2022 agenda. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and the motion is carried. I didn't even ask for no. Reports. We are going to first go with the chairman's report. And the only thing that I wanted to bring up to you today is a good date for board retreat. I was looking, you know, we had it scheduled for November, and it seems like our schedules all got so busy in November because of TSBA and other things, holidays, and it just got too hectic. So in February, if you would look, there's two ideas that I have about this. We can do it Thursday right after school, about 4:30, maybe the 17th or the 10th, or we can do it on Saturday mornings like we've done before, starting at 9. What would be your choice, and what date looks good for you in February?
Which Saturday, Chairman?
Any Saturday will be fine. Any 12th and 19th would probably be fine. Mr. Mayo, is that going to work for you?
I'm checking.
And I'm sorry, what was the other date?
Thursday at 4:30, the 10th or the 17th?
I would personally rather do it on Thursday, but I'm open to Saturday if that's what it has to be, but I'd rather do it on Thursday.
I was kind of leaning in that direction too.
I can go Thursday or Saturday. I never work, so, you know, it doesn't make a difference.
Well, Hughes for Thursday.
Yeah. I mean, it's a crapshoot depending on the
I
schedule.
know it,
but
that's what I was concerned about,
Let me
Dale.
add up numbers real quick.
Not copies.
We could even do it the 24th, Dale, if you know. I just was kind of shooting for the 10th or the 17th.
I can't do it on the 24th.
Okay, so that's a no, okay?
I have a baseball banquet.
Yeah, I mean, the 17th may work.
You want me to get back with,
17th is out probably for me.
17th is bad for you? Okay, so we're looking at the 10th. What do you think about that, Dale? Or do you need to get back with me?
No, hang on. It's possible, yeah.
Okay, let's try for the 14th, the 10th,
Yeah.
February the 10th at 4:30, okay? All right,
That's here.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Are we gonna eat?
Oh, why not?
Yeah,
I'm in.
Let's do it.
I'll cook.
There you go.
Louse cooking, okay, good deal.
How long should we schedule it for? Trying to think of, put it on the schedule.
I would say 3 hours,
Okay.
possibly, yeah, just to be safe. All right, that concludes my report. It was easy. Superintendent's report.
Mine's a little bit longer than that. First of all, I always want to start by again thanking our employees for a strong start back second semester. I was a little concerned sitting at home over the holiday break when I kept hearing about all the cases and seeing things that were going on nationally, or like, are we going to be able to go back, at our scheduled time? And so we were able to do that, and we've struggled along the way with some having enough substitute teachers or having people to cover classes, and I know that's put a burden on both administrators and teachers having to cover other people's classes. I remember doing that as a teacher, and it's never fun to give up your planning time to have to cover someone else, but people have done that because that's what's been necessary. Dr. Clark and I are currently working on some substitute teacher incentives that we think will incentivize our subs to maybe go that extra mile and they don't really feel like working today. Maybe it might be beneficial to work beyond getting the regular pay. So she's probably going to talk a little bit more about that in her report, but we are exploring some options that we think will, like I said, incentivize our subs and hopefully cut down on that unfilled rate that we're currently experiencing. And
Will she talk about that rate in her report, like where we are in that?
will you? Yeah. I mean, we're good. We have it, so you can go ahead and share that if you'd like to. We kind of hammered that out yesterday and today. So anyway, that's something that we feel like will help not only our administrators, but it'll help our teachers and also, attract our subs, because that is a challenge right now. We're also looking at proposing a substitute increase in our new budget to try to keep up with that. We've not done that in a while, and so I think this would be a really good time to look for that if we can afford to do that. We haven't met since we were named the top workplace, so I wanted to show you our bling that we received for that. Again, I want to thank the employees for voting us the top workplace. That was strictly an employee survey that resulted in what I consider very difficult, challenging times. For our employees to vote us as the top workplace is very meaningful to me, and it should be to all of us who work here, because to me that's a big deal when the employees recognize the work and the efforts that are being made to try to support them. Tyler is in the process of ordering some stand-up banners for each of the schools. Last year we did the banners across because we were third, but since we're first, we want to do something a little bit different this year and put that in the schools in the central office. So those will be coming soon. I do want to give you an update on our case count since January. Since we've returned, we've had 26 employees that have reported tested positive, and we've had 348 students that have reported. Of course, that doesn't include any quarantining of employees. I know Dr. Clark said the other day that just in the month of January, she and her staff have already built like 90 employee files. That means that folder, for every time we get a case, we build a folder on it. And so that tells you, even though there's 26 positives, there's that many more and triple, quadruple people that are, close contacts, household contacts that have to quarantine for up to 5 days or 10 or whatever it is, depending on the situation. So that's continuing to go on. Hopefully we're seeing a plateau in that, and we're going to start seeing the decline. Seen it a little bit in the student cases, so hopefully that's going to continue to go in the right direction. We had our Southwest Core Superintendent meeting last week. That was the first one that I've gotten to attend in person since I've been in this position, going on 2 years. So it was the first in-person one, and so that was nice to be able to do that. A lot of the focus on that was griping, about things that we don't like. And we did have a state school board member there to listen to all of that and take notes. And I don't know what he's going to do with it when he left, but anyway, we felt better. And we did get to talk about the waiver process and how we didn't think it was, proactively offered out by TDOE. And I got to actually speak about that a little bit. I usually am pretty quiet, but I got a little vocal on that one since we had to use 4 of our stockpile days for that. We also talked about the new BEP budget formula, how that's going. They're still soliciting input from superintendent and superintendent groups, and so the group is in the process now of putting together what things we think must be in there, and then some things that should be considered as far as balancing all of that out. We were told that we would get our expected BEP allocations for this next budget year, so we don't have to worry about it at least for this year, but we'll be seeing how that's going to unfold. And there's some implications that it could be for our town as well if some of these things get put into place with this new BEP funding formula. And I've asked Ms. Speakman to keep the mayor and the city manager updated on that process so that they too can be involved in what's going on, because at the end of the day, 3 years down the road, it may not affect them the first year, but 3 years down the road, this could be folded into that where it's going to require them to spend more money to fund schools in essence. So we want to keep a watchful eye on that, and Ms. Speakman is staying on top of that, and so is Ms. Roberts. We are working currently on the 2023-2024 instructional calendar. My superintendent leadership roundtable group met last week, I think it was, for our Q3 meeting, and we came to the meeting with 4 proposed calendars. We left the meeting with 2. They nixed 2 of them real quickly after much discussion. So then they took those calendars back to their school staffs, and now they're in the process of sending me feedback based on what the calendar, what the feedback was. And it's kind of split down the middle right now, honestly. So we'll probably be doing a survey. I didn't know if we would need to do one or not, but we will be doing most likely a survey with people designating themselves as a teacher, an administrator, a parent, how we've done in the past to make sure we're getting a good read on that. There's been a few suggestions on there. I don't know that we can incorporate any of them because, like I've told you before, people want their, they don't want to start till August, but they want fall break, spring break, 5 weeks at Christmas, whatever. So it's hard to put all of that in there and get your state required days at the end of it. But we look at those suggestions and see where there's room we can kind of incorporate some of that and make it work if we can. And that pretty well concludes the information that I have to share with you. I am going to go over Tyler Hill's report. He's out today, and so he did give me some notes. His first topic is strategic plan. We talked about that before, that we were going to be launching a new strategic plan study this year that would go into effect for the next school year, that we'll be bringing to the full board at a later date, probably in May, maybe June, depending on where we are with that. But he did note that the core team met last week to discuss the overall strategic planning process and meeting dates. And the core team includes me, Tyler Hill, Todd Goforth, Rochelle Douglas, Allison Clark, and Ms. Williams as the board chairman. So we also have a strategic plan committee that's just made up of the principals, central office supervisors, school nurse, technology, social and transition specialist, guidance, and we'll have 2 or 3 teachers from each school that we've already identified for this process. The kickoff meeting for the entire planning committee will be Wednesday, February the 2nd, and I don't know what time that is. I can't remember. Is it 8:30? Todd, do you remember? I think it's 8:30, but we can get that time to you. Any of you are interested in coming, please feel free to attend that if you would like to. We will also have student listening sessions as a part of the strategic plan, and we're scheduling those at the high school and middle school. And we're also trying to figure out a way to look at schedule some time with maybe some alum to talk about how prepared you were or you didn't feel prepared in a certain area as we look forward at how this plan's gonna come to fruition. We'll be getting feedback from all of the grade bands, and we'll have some opportunities for business community input as well in that process. Once we have our kickoff meeting, then we'll be able to tell you more about what that strategic plan is going to look like. It's going to be very different from what we've done before, and so we're going to be trying to figure that out as we move through the process. But the ultimate goal of the strategic plan is, what is our product? Our product is a graduate, an Arlington Community Schools graduate. And so what does that look like, and how do we get them there? And do they all look the same, or do they look different, and based on what we offer and how we're preparing students? So that's kind of the overall, and we'll nail that down a little bit better as we move through the process, but that's the goal at the end of the strategic plan. Tyler's been working with each school on district websites with the webmasters to begin the process of redesigning the district and school websites. We're completing our 4th year with the current website, so it's not only time to update the look and function of the sites, but technology has also changed, and this will give us newer tools to keep parents and community better informed. Tyler and the webmasters went through several demos with various vendors and ultimately chose Blackboard. Blackboard is the same system that we use for notifications for snow days or other communications that we use. We've been happy with that. We can expect new sites will launch shortly after the school year begins next year, so we don't have any interruptions to our current sites this school year and then over the summer months when we're trying to communicate information. And that's Tyler's report, and from there I will go in order. Dr. Clark, you're up first.
Good evening. So next month, February the 22nd, we'll have the tenure recognition, because tonight you'll vote on tenure for, we have 12 employees that's up for that this school year. That will begin at 5 o'clock, because we always have that before the board meeting. Then I will send you a follow-up email after this, but I didn't want to send you too much at once. On February the 15th, we'll have our annual teacher job fair like we did last year. If you're able to attend, we'd love to have you. It's always wonderful to see you there. I think that's what sets this district apart from other districts, is we have very involved school board members. They love it because you're so personable and you get what they're going through. And that is a very attractive aspect to our district. So I appreciate your support and what you do.
Did you say the 15th on that?
That is February the 15th.
Okay.
The most important part is dinner will start being served at 4:30. 4:30. I'll give you 45 minutes to eat before the teachers come in the door.
That's 2 meals during the month of February.
Whoa! Got that marked? I'll send you an email. At that, of course, if you can attend, you're going to be introduced. I mean, your picture's going to be part of the PowerPoint anyway. I'll give you an opportunity if you want to put your updated picture on there, or see if Mr. Hill has that. Make sure, so you'll be introduced. Beginning in February, so you'll know, outside in the lobby area, we have two large banners, the stand-up banners. And so I worked with Mr. Hill. We have two more that show our teachers and our students engaged. So I will be going to in-person career fairs at colleges in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas. I'll be attending 7 so far. And then, of course, any of the ones in the immediate area. Right now, that includes Union University and CBU. So if others are going to have their in-person, I will be there as well. The employee intent survey closes this Friday. So Mr. Mayo and I, we started working on projections today. And so Friday, we will know where we stand with employees that we'll need to hire for the upcoming year. So we will have some openings, because you know there's always retirement. Some people are very fortunate to do that, right? Ms. Williams, Mr.
Yes,
Lamar,
yes,
Ms. Conley. Not all of us, but some of us are fortunate to take that venture. And so we are in a really good position. Mr. Mayo and I were looking at those numbers and putting the percentages on them. So we're in a really good position. We'll have some openings. And I will be meeting with the principals. Of course, I have a principals meeting this Thursday, so they're getting a preview of that. But on Thursday, I'll share with them that I'll be setting up times to go to each school and go through that and share with them where we're going and what's our projections looking like. Then for substitutes, as Mr. Mayo mentioned, I was already considering to increase their daily rate of pay from this school year to next school year, because it's time for budget. As I was doing that, Mr. Yao, he primarily focuses on substitutes and works with me on that. But the two of us have been working and communicating on a daily basis, because kudos to the principals and their designated APs, because they are doing all they can do. As I receive the COVID isolation and the cases 7 days a week, I'm texting these principals, letting them know, hey, I'm seeing I got so many that came in today on a Saturday. If and I tell them, go ahead, call a backup. If you can get a backup sub in, we're not going to worry if they don't get used, but they probably will be used in some place by when we get there. So they've been working diligently, and we've been trying all we can do to support that, and they've been doing everything they can do, along with all their teachers and their staff being very flexible. As I was working through that, I hear that some of our friends in the municipalities are increasing those pays and giving stipends very quickly. So with that, I shared that with Mr. Mayo. And so we have come to that we're going to do an incentive stipend. So that's something that we can put in place immediately without raising our daily rate, and then look at next year raising the daily rate. Because as you know, when you do an incentive stipend, if you raise that rate real quickly, you're going to have to make sure you sustain that. So the incentive stipend will give us that flexibility when we need to insert it in for times like this, and then maybe we won't do it starting next school year. I mean, I've gotten to the point we never know what next school year will bring. So it's always good to have that incentive stipend. So to give you an idea of the incentive stipend, right now our daily rate is $96.90 a day. That's our daily rate. So what we're going to do is if a substitute, because we do have some substitutes that they may only sub on Monday, Friday, or they may only sub on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we want to keep that in mind, because our substitutes, I know that firsthand, we have very wonderful substitutes. We have retired educators, which that's a unique right there, to be able to have people retire and continue to work for us. And so with that being said, if a person substitutes on Monday or Friday, that's a $50 incentive stipend. If they substitute on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, that's $30 a day incentive stipend on top of their daily rate. I can assure you from what I know, that is higher than the other municipalities that I'm aware of. Then we have some degreed substitutes that when we have a long-term interim job that's greater than 10 days, they have a rate, they don't have a teaching license, but their rate is $158.10. So their incentive will be just straight $25 a day because they've already signed up to be there. You know, these are like 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. Now, one thing that we did starting this school year, and from all the information I have received and gathered, we are the only district that started out doing that and continues doing that, is because we do have retired teachers, and when they're certified in that particular area, they have come in with the agreement. They understand, I'll pay you your daily rate that you would make as a teacher, as a certified teacher. But in doing that, you're going to assume all those, you're going to go back and assume all those teacher responsibilities. Communicating with parents, which is large in our district. That's email, phone calls, parent-teacher conference night, grading papers, doing the lesson plans. They like it because, you know, when you're retired, you start planning some things that you want to purchase, and so that just adds to that. So we've worked with our retired teachers in doing that, and even teachers who are seeking jobs in our district as well that have moved into this area. And so from my understanding and talking to the principals, it's helpful to them because they don't have to worry. That person comes in, they do the job. It's like having regular teacher there. You're not having to train a substitute on all those teaching dynamics. So that's where we stand at this time. And I want to thank Rochelle and Miracle for working close with me this past day or so to pull this all together, because we will be communicating this out on Thursday's principals meeting, so they got a little inside here, and then we're going to email out our current substitutes, and then we're going to include that in our promotional flyers, you know, to get more applicants in our substitute pool, and we will start that on Monday, our incentive sub. So I appreciate both of these ladies for working with me and helping me pull that together. And Mr. Mayo, we pulled that plan together. And I think that covers everything. Is any questions?
Question.
Yes, sir.
I noticed Mondays and Fridays were 50 and Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursday. Is it harder to get people on Mondays and Fridays rather than Tuesdays, Thursdays, or is it right here?
Would you all like to answer that, principals? Well, I want to tell you, I mean, I know that, yes, it always has been, Mr. Lamar, always has been. But what we do is, Mr. Yao, on a daily basis, sends me the daily report, and it shows how many positions we have for each school. It shows me how many positions were unfilled and who those positions were, so I know COVID isolation, you know, so I know the situation we're working with. But Mondays and Fridays has always been the challenge. And with COVID, the trend of it is you kind of get out and about more on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, so the Monday hits, and then if you have your COVID situation at the beginning of the week, it's going to take you through the end of the week. So between the trend of historical and a normal situation, whatever that is, we have to think about that. Mondays and Fridays are a higher sub rate. Then you add this on top of it, it makes it a greater challenge.
Okay, thank you.
Would you like for me to sign you up for Monday, Friday?
No.
Just thought I'd ask.
And what is our fill rate right now? I know you talked about percentages that we're kind of hitting.
I did, when I looked, he gave me the full rate as of January, just these days that we are in, and it was at 72%. And we usually, even with COVID first semester, we were at 88%. Some days were lower, but we could average out in 88% at 90. Typically, I don't know, I mean, back in the past when it was normal, you know, we would be at 95, 96, somewhere in that
That reminded me of that, yeah.
ballpark. But I'm gonna tell you, I was on a call last Friday with other HR in the state, and Mr. Mayo had given us that list, and it's unbelievable. A number of school districts, and you, I'm sure heard this, they're having to shut down because they don't have enough subs, enough teachers. It's a mess. So I just was quiet because I thought, I'm not saying a word. I'm in a good spot. We're open.
And what do we do in those situations? This may be outside this realm of conversation, but what do we do in those situations whenever we're short? You know, if we're at 72%, that's still, 28% short of our teacher numbers. Do we have somebody that goes into those classes? Do teachers have to fill in on their free time to go and check on those classes, or how does that kind of work?
Teachers cover.
They cover.
They cover.
Or assistants, administrators,
Okay.
central office,
Okay.
whoever's available, and whatever we can do the goal has been to keep the schools open.
Right.
And then I know I've had conversation one day with Mr. Duncan about a week ago because they had, was it 19? And 19 unfilled or something like that on a Friday. And so, I told him, I said, if this continues or this doesn't get better, we may have to consider applying for a waiver and going remote for a few days until we can get this caught back up. But he and I we talked about how we would stay in touch about that, but that's improved, since that conversation. And we feel like some of these incentives will also help with that, and hopefully we're seeing the decline, of this going down too. So it's a challenge. It has been a great challenge. And the money, by the way, is coming from, we have substitute money already allocated, but we also have some ESSER money that we can pull from to make up this difference to offer these incentives for the remainder of this year. And that's what Ms. Roberts and Ms. Douglas have been working on to assure that, we're not going to offer something we can't pay or we don't have the money to pay.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. Mr. Goforth.
I don't have any incentives. Good job, Dr. Clark. I do just have a few updates I want to share with the board. Mainly just to notify you, we have our annual Family Life Curriculum Preview Day that is coming up on February the 8th. That'll be here at the district office. That's open to all stakeholders. As you know, we're required by law to open that up to all stakeholders to come in and view that curriculum. That will be February 8th here at district office, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Also, we've started planning for our summer camps. For this summer, as you know, we're required to offer summer camps for kindergarten through 8th graders based on learning loss needs. So we started the planning with that, and the tentative dates for that will be June 6th through June 30th. Also, just to update you, next week at Arlington High School will be Bound Night. That will be February the 1st from 6 to 8:30. That's where those 8th grade students from Arlington Middle School transition over to the high school to kind of get a dose of what Arlington High School is actually like. And that night will also be for new students to come into Arlington High School to see the offerings. So that is February the 1st at Arlington High School, 6 to 8:30. And I do want to just kind of update you on this, just to kind of keep you in the loop with academics at Arlington High School. They're doing an outstanding job over there with these post-secondary offerings. So we did offer a course over there. It was Emergency Medical Responder, a course that we have offered in partnership with the town of Arlington. That course is going away. The town has been great to us for several years in partnering to offer that to our students. But as you can imagine, with any medical personnel at this point in time, it's very demanding. So it's not the ideal fit any longer. So what we are doing, we're very excited about a new opportunity that we'll be offering to our students. It's going to be a clinical internship for students at the high school. And what that will entail is we currently have 8 partners, and they're in the town of Arlington, and they're all really medical related. So we have like a dentist office, a pediatric office, medical doctors, that type of personnel. So our students will have the opportunity to, when they become seniors, to go out into these offices and have internship opportunities or job shadowing opportunities. So we're very excited about that addition at the high school to replace that EMR, because again, you know, with EMR, you're pretty much settled in on paramedics. Well, that's great, but in offering this clinical internship, there will be many more exploration sort of opportunities for our kids to, you know, what goes on in the dentist office, what goes on at the optometrist, that type thing. So I just wanted to share you that's something new that's upcoming at the high school, and kudos to the town of Arlington and the businesses for jumping in with that. And Ms. Douglas, our secondary supervisor, has done an outstanding job in collaborating and getting those partners on board. So just something new to look forward to at Arlington High School. So that is my report. You have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Sounds
Goforth.
good.
Ms. Douglas? No report. All right. Mr. Ruff?
Good evening. I just had a couple of quick things I wanted to go over. First of all, you know, we just had the ribbon cutting for our new facility. For those of you who got to make it, thank you. It was, you know, very good turnout. Without your approval, we wouldn't be able to do such projects, so thank you for that very much. That being said, we're getting close to finalizing the paperwork for our next project to get the architect on board for that, the fine arts expansion. I know that there was some chamber, I guess, that what's going to be the next thing on the list from our friends at Facebook, and so that's what we're doing next is fine arts expansion. Couple of things that we got going on currently that are in our this year's budget. The air conditioners that we are scheduled to do this summer are out to bid right now. Hopefully I'll have some numbers back on that, and we'll be able to vote on that next month to get that project going. The press box that has kind of been back and forth and on hold with different items, I got word today that the concrete for that is expected to start next week. I say expected because I have no guarantees, but if that gets in, the press box is ready, and hopefully, if all goes well, we'll have that project completed by the 1st of March. And as we always do this time of year, we're doing our facility assessments so we can start building toward new projects, anything we need to do to keep the campuses up and going. We'll have all that information. Mr. Mayo and I will get together, and we'll get with the principals, and we'll see what kind of projects they would like to add to the list, and then we'll reconvene, and we'll have some more projects for you guys to approve. So, any questions?
Comment.
Yes, sir.
I've been on the board about 3 years or so, 4, and we've had 3 facilities we've opened, the gym and the indoor facility, and then this resting facility.
Yes, sir.
The people that are there, most of them are citizens, they're just amazed, and I am too, at the greatness of how fine a facility it is. It's just nowhere to be found. So hats off to you and the staff for, as you look back the last 3 or 4 years of the new facility, it's just amazing what it's been done, and kudos to you, Mr. Ruff.
Thank you. Thank you. I couldn't do it without you guys' approval, so thank you so much. So, have a great evening.
Thank you, Mr. Ruff. And on that note, if any of you have ideas or projects that might have a budget impact, then it's okay to go ahead and let me know about those so that we can kind of do some research or groundwork before we get to our one-on-one budget meetings later on in April. We'll have opportunity to put some numbers together, or I'll call you and tell you I'm sorry, but no, that's not gonna happen, or we don't have the money, or Miss Roberts told me, I blame it on her that we don't have the money. So anyway, if you have any of those, then feel free to let me know that. Ms. Speakman?
Are you getting that guy in the press box a new chair? I'm just asking for a friend.
That's legit. That's a legit
I'm
question.
asking for a friend.
I don't remember that being a request.
Just asking.
Good evening. This is really short too. Just wanted to bring you up to date about where we are so far with the Tennessee General Assembly. As you know, February 3rd will be the filing deadline. So between now and then, we're getting just slammed with all kinds of bills, which range from everything from vouchers to elected superintendents to, oh, Mr. Duncan, you'll like this one. You can, a student who's not enrolled in a course and has never attended a course is now going to be able to take the end of the year test, and it'll count toward their diploma and credits. So now nobody even has to go to school. Thought you'd like that? No, then you won't have any students in your school, and you can just play golf all day. That's right, that's what I was thinking. And then the other one is that I want to talk to you about briefly, Mr. Mayo already touched upon, but it's about the BEP. So we think that the BEP formula that they have proposed is fully baked from their standpoint, but it's very short on details to us. And so the best we can tell, we know a couple of things. One is that it's going to be based on student needs, which sounds like a really groovy thing, but the problem is that if you're in a district that does not have some of the students that fall into these categories, then you'll be receiving less money necessarily. So if you don't have a high poverty group, if you don't have a high, special education group, et cetera, it stands to reason that you're going to get less money. So that is going to be balanced against the fiscal capacity model that has always been immersed in the present BEP, but will be used in a greater detail as we understand it in this new BEP formula. So what does that mean to us? It means that there will be a stress test that will be performed on every municipality or county government to see, what your ability is to raise funds. Meaning, do you have high property values? And so if you do, then you will be paying more toward the school district's needs and share of the BEP formula. And so what they've done so far is to say that they wouldn't implement these significant increases to the local requirements for the first 3 years. And it makes one wonder if you're sort of being lulled to sleep, so that you won't fight the legislation thinking, I might be dead in 3 years, or whatever it was, somebody I might think. So anyway, the point is that, we got to start, we've got to know that that's coming and not get lulled to sleep on that. Also to note that they started out talking about 3 years, that it would take 3 years for that to hit, and now the latest thing I've heard is that they're gonna go ahead and implement that in a year. So it's very important for us to watch that legislation, but what I think it would be prudent for you all to do is to ask something that I believe Superintendent Mayo, the TOS organization, is going to be asking for, which is for the members of the General Assembly to insist upon a formulaic review of how the BEP would impact each school district before the fact, and meaning before the legislation is passed. Yep. And Ms. Roberts can be the one who can absolutely tell you that the state has the ability to do that. They've done it on many other occasions when we have had legislation pending, or when there have been thoughts about ways to fund different mechanisms for school districts. But if you could ask any of your contacts to at least insist upon that, to see what it's going to look like before the deal gets done. Even if we can't impact the final decision on that, at least we could know on the front end and plan a little bit ahead until, like Dr. Clark and Mr. Mayo talk about all the time, before, as we say in Arkansas, the cow's out of the barn, and then all of a sudden, you have to lay people off. So, and that's not for anybody that's filming this. It's that don't worry. We want to plan so that doesn't happen. So that's all I have this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Speakman. That concludes the superintendent's report. Ms. Williams?
Yes, Ms. Roberts, financial report. That's scary. Mm-hmm. Very frightening.
Good evening. For the November 2021 financial report, general fund revenues $14,316,940. Expenditures $16,059,223. Nutrition fund revenues $1,034,017. Expenditures $566,228. Federal and discretionary grants fund revenues $873,359. Expenditures $917,457. CIP fund revenues $1,264,451. Expenditures, $1,640,848. And then there's no health benefits plan trust report for this month. That concludes the financial reports.
Thank you, Ms. Roberts. Mr. Lamar, TLN report.
The second term of the 112th General Assembly convened on January the 11th, 10/22 in Nashville. The bill deadline for the House is set at February the 2nd, and the deadline for the Senate is set at February the 3rd. As you know, the TSBA monitors the bills daily, and they'll keep us posted on the website of what they're doing. There were no changes in the Senate leadership. Senator Rand McNally from Oak Ridge continues to be the Lieutenant Governor and the Speaker. There were no changes in the House leadership except one. Cameron Sexton is still the Speaker of the House from Crossville, but there's one change. No, it's not a change there. Committee appointments, the Senate has one education committee and has no subcommittees, and that's where the change was there. Senator John Lewinberg was named as the committee chair. He's a new chair. The House has two standing committees, the Education Administration Committee and the Education Instruction Committee. And Mark White is from our area, is one head of those subcommittees, which are the Higher Education Subcommittee and the K through 12 Subcommittee. They're also the Education Instruction Committee, which is chaired by Deborah Movie, and it has one subcommittee called the Education Instruction Committee. So things are starting to happen in Nashville because the deadline for those two dates I indicated, and TSB will keep us updated. That continues my report.
Thank you, Mr. Lamar. It's kind of scary, very scary. Is there a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Dr. Viox, seconded by Mr. Lamar. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the motion is carried. All right, we're ready for you to lead us through the agenda, Mr. Mayo.
Okay. So the first the only item under miscellaneous budget items is the monthly resolution to amend the school's budget. That's ACS Resolution 2022-01. And these, again, are your monthly transfers that we do. One of these that I'm most familiar with is so that we are able to continue doing our quarterly celebrations for employees. We are moving some money from unused equipment line item over to a line item so we can continue to fund that for our employees, because we think that's important. And then you have other areas here for personnel, staff development, different, you see the federal grants expenses is also there, where that's constant movement for those accounts. So with that, it's my recommendation that you approve ACS Resolution 2022-01.
All right, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
It's been moved by Mr., I'm going to have three choices here. Mr. Benjamin, seconded by Ms. Conley. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Oh, I'm sorry, is there any discussion about that?
No discussion.
No discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the motion's carried. Okay. Next item.
The first item under business recommended action items is 10A. This is Resolution 2022-02, the resolution for the Board of Education to grant tenure to the eligible teachers. You can see the resolution there, and I will call the teachers' names. I know that Dr. Clark has previously sent you information as board members about why these teachers are eligible for tenure, how they've earned tenure, and giving you an opportunity to review any of that information if you so desired. Those teachers listed here are from Arlington Elementary School, Miss Emily Floyd, Arlington High School, Andrea Gertzen, Mr. Daniel Henders, Ms. Lacey Lindsay, Mr. Timothy Simpson, Ms. Kristen Tucker, Mr. Andrew Ward, Mr. Cameron White. From Arlington Middle, Ms. Lisa Green, and Ms. Julia Moeller. From Donaldson Elementary, we have Ms. Casey Dixon and Ms. Lisa Williams. There's 12 teachers that are eligible, and it is my recommendation that you approve Resolution 2022-02, granting tenure to these eligible teachers.
Okay, is there a motion to grant tenure to approve the
So moved.
superintendent's recommendation?
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Dr. Viak, seconded by Mr. Benjamin. Is there any discussion, excuse me?
Only to say congratulations. That's a heck of an achievement. So
Amen.
congratulations to them all.
Yes, it is. It's tremendous. Thank you, Dr. Viak. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. The ayes have it, and the motion's carried.
And as Dr. Clark pointed out, we will have a reception at our February board meeting and invite these newly tenured teachers in
Yes.
to recognize them and have a reception for them as we've done in the past. The next item under business recommended action items is 10B. This is Resolution 2022-01. No, I got it backwards. 03.
Yeah, it's a 3.
Wrong stack. So this is a resolution that is our revised fee schedule for field trips and school fees. You're used to seeing this monthly. You can see in the back, there's a lot of hopeful things going on in the spring that we hope we're able to participate in with different field trips and different opportunities for our students. So with that, it is my recommendation that you approve ACS Resolution 2022-03, amending or to approve a revised school fee and field trip schedule.
Okay, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right, it's been moved by Ms. Conley, seconded by Mr. Lamar. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the motion's carried. We are ready for adjournment. Do I have a motion?
So
So moved.
It's been moved by Dr. Viak, seconded by Ms. Conley. Any discussion or anything about that? No, I hope not. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the meeting is adjourned.